Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. Wow, I got intro music. You guys hear that shit? I am Chris.
I'm Audra.
I am Tony.
And I am Lourdes.
And I am wondering where the other half of Team Rathman is.
That's right.
The other half is putting in like 12 hours a week overtime, and she has been just swamped. She worked half the weekend putting in overtime. She was up till 1:30 last night trying to, because of course on top of everything else we're looking to move, so little by little we tackle each room, sort through everything, say what's gonna go, what do we need, what do we don't need, what are we gonna sell, what are we gonna throw away, what are we gonna, and it's crazy. So she said, I have to finish working. So I said, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Understandable. Oh, she's missed.
She is.
I'm Ron, by the way. I'm Ron, by the way. I always sacrifice my intro for a joke, but my name's right on the bottom of the screen. If you don't know me by now, you probably shouldn't.
You don't know who you are.
I don't know who I am.
You don't know who you are. And I've been hung out with all this time. It's just Ron, by the way. Got it wrong.
We hung out with Mr. Anthony Seminella this weekend. We were at the Full Moon Paranormal, Bearfort Paranormal, Gonyak,
and Parasite,
Team Parasite, Seekers Club, Anthony, at the Patchett House in Wallkill, New York, about an hour or so from here, 1800s place. At one point was a morgue, and that was where famous playwright Tennessee Williams was embalmed.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we had been told. Rich Michelle
and Bandos.
Yep, I said Barefoot. Robert and Sandra Bando. But I had forgotten Richard. And we were told that this place was like off the chain. Like they did it a few months back in February with Johnny Zaffis, and it did not disappoint. It was a really, really awesome location. Robert Bandoff got some amazing EVPs with his DR60. He's got me on the edge of buying one from Tim Dalton.
He's caving.
Because it was just I was right next to him, dude, and we got these clear EVPs answering questions, and I had 2 recorders running, and I got bupkis.
Well,
so
the thing about the DR60 is that, and that's Sony, right? That was a Sony Panasonic. I'm sorry, Panasonic. They literally admitted that there was high noise level in it. Well, I believe that noise level acts as a white noise background and gives them the ability. Now, is the DR60 clearer than EVPs that you get on other devices? That I don't know about, but does it seem to capture more of them? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he got some pretty good ones. Yeah, I mean, you get them with other recorders, and they are super clear oftentimes. That's true. But it was just fascinating to see how, and it speaks to the phenomena more than the device, right? That this is not an ambient sound. Right. That he's literally less than an arm's length from me, and somebody spoke, and 3 recorders were going.
Yeah. And only his recorder got it.
Only one got it.
Yep.
Wow.
So
cool.
Then we had a nice little dinner for Father's Day, which happy Father's Day to the 2 gentlemen sitting above me here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all 3 of you.
I've been called a mother before.
So that was our weekend. Chill Friday, Patchett House until literally we got to sleep at 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Wow.
Napped a few hours, went to Father's Day dinner. I know people commenting on stuff going, do you guys ever sleep? There's no time for that.
I sent a link at like 1:40, quarter to 2 in the morning, which 3-hour time difference. So let's say it was 1:30, 4:30 in the morning. Lourdes answers, "Oh, I got it. We'll watch later. We're just starting to drive home." I'm thinking it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I was surprised you were up.
Yeah, well, the Patrick House was like, here, you know, they gave the Nicole from Full Moon, gave her the keys and said, you guys can stay. And eventually, you know, it was.
You can't tell us that.
Yeah.
You can stay? What?
Us two, Anthony Simonelli, Nicole, and Rich Michelle. Rich Michelle had to get for Father's Day. He has 2 little boys that call him Dada. And Dada had to take him fishing in the morning, and he sure did.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I saw
Early.
photos of him doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome father.
that's so cool.
That's fantastic.
So, what'd you guys do weekend? Father's Day.
We're bums.
Gotta be sometimes.
Yeah. So Audra took me out to dinner Saturday night to our favorite restaurant. Not the one,
Not the local.
not the local room. Our favorite Italian restaurant in Concord. It sits on Union Street, and Union Street's been there since the early 1800s.
Beautiful,
in Concord.
beautiful, beautiful home.
The Italian restaurant that we go to was built in 1902.
Huh?
1902. We've been
Well,
trying
the
to,
building.
yeah, the building. We've been trying to get them to let us investigate it, but they never close because they're one of the most popular restaurants in town. But it's a fantastic place. Audra took me there, and then Sunday I didn't do squat. So between our shows and my work schedule, it was nice to just not do squat.
Right.
I don't think I left the couch all morning or all
Barely.
afternoon, all day. I
Yeah.
haven't done that in months. What about you guys? I saw you spent time with your dad.
Yeah, well, we did Friday night. We chilled out. Saturday. Wait, did we do anything Friday night? No, right?
We had the Thursday, the library.
Oh, we did the library lecture presentation with Rich Michelle and Kim Geyer, the Ghost History Medium, which was really cool. Really good turnout. People were asking for when we were going to come back again. Those are really fun, intimate events to do. We ran a live STATICOM, and there was people there recording, and one gentleman was widowed, and he asked for his wife to give him their anniversary, their number. What was their number? Because he's been seeing it popping up a lot. So we're all intently listening to the STATICOM.
And we heard numbers. We heard like 156. We were hearing numbers.
The answer came forth, but not from the STATICOM, but from the Lourdes. He looked up and she goes, "Is it 414?" And he went, "Holy yes." How did you know that? She nailed it.
It came to me. It was so weird because
That's cool.
I'm listening to the STATICOM and I see like a happy birthday banner, a pink happy birthday banner. I'm like, why am I seeing this? And from learning from mediums that they say they usually see signs that relates to them, that's the answer. So I knew the next question was coming. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to ask. And I was like, is it 414? He goes, yes, that's the number. That's my birthday. So I just asked.
Wow.
So that was the symbolism she got to get her to say it.
Yeah.
See if you can tell.
First time that happened.
See if you can tell Everett where his wallet is, because I'm looking in the post and he's saying he lost his wallet. So maybe you can tell him where it's at.
The last place you dropped it.
Yeah. Checking the car.
It's in the Piedmont Trailer headquarters.
It's in that video arcade you stopped at this afternoon, Everett.
So, and then we were cutting. I was finishing cutting video evidence for tonight's show. Literally, between getting up after a few hours of sleep, and both Saturday morning and Sunday, before we left to go out to the Patchett house, before we left to go to Father's Day dinner, I was on the computer finishing videos for tonight because we had to have evidence.
See, I told you guys those two were vampires. You didn't listen.
I don't know about blood, but we suck.
No, he's
whatever.
The last thing.
We're not touching that.
No, and so now it's Tony's turn, and I'm sure it involves sitting on a computer editing because we saw some of that mastery take place.
We did.
Well, let's see. Friday night I got to spend with Dylan. He had to work Father's Day, so he came over Friday night, stayed till I think about noon on Saturday, which was great. It was great to see him. We watched
Good kid.
a movie and hung out and had dinner. And then Saturday I edited and we finalized the teaser trailer to the upcoming release of the STATICOM documentary. So that's out there. It is on any one of our Facebook pages. You can go to Lord S. Ron, myself, Cherie, Chris, Audra. You'll find it. It's there. It looks just like the picture behind us.
Yes. It was shared to Entity Voices. It was shared to Southern Entities. It was shared to
whoever I could share it to.
the North American Care Unity that Scott produced.
It's on different ITC sites. It's on the entityvoices.com website. It's on a variety of places, but check it out. That documentary we're planning to release in July, but time's ticking. So I did that, and then
nice job, by the way.
Yes.
Very nice job.
Really nice work. Very humble in his editing skills when he speaks on his own behalf, but he's very good at it. It's really good.
Well, I appreciate that. We'll talk about the last copy only, because I went back to watch the first one I did when you're like, well, there's a couple of things that look like glitches. When I went back, I'm like, oh my God, couple. I was like, it was all over the place. And I'm like, wow. That was like at 2 a.m, I think, when I'm like, okay, good. Well, no, not so good. But yeah. And then Sunday, actual Father's Day, let's see. I think I made some changes to the website, and then I helped clean. I did a bunch of cooking and got food ready for the week. So that was my weekend.
I mean, seriously, right? He does ITC, he cleans and cooks. You're lucky I'm taken.
You know, I will say that, and I appreciate the compliments. Cherie will completely disagree. No, you don't.
We've heard it.
I do.
Sure.
But then she will lovingly post all your meals that you prep and
yes, she does. She's awesome. She's fun.
She is.
She spanks his butt and then rubs the red spot.
Yeah.
Her and I like to tease each other, and that's what keeps it fun. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was fun. My son took me out. We went to dinner for Father's Day, but after he took us out for dessert to a frozen yogurt place. And he took out he's 17. He took out his credit card, and he goes, he's so funny. He's so much my kid that I feel bad for him sometimes. He goes, it's on me. I got it. One topping, just one topping.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah. Well,
I like when he goes to the girl. She goes, I got this. And then he takes out the thing and gives her the card
yeah.
to pay for it.
He paid for
It's
my
so adorable.
It was sweet.
So cool.
That is so
Okay.
awesome.
So here we are.
That's Cherie, by the way.
Probably. I knew it.
Oh, you know what? I bet it is.
No, it is.
It is. He knows.
I always have the Facebook stream on this side on my computer so I can see who's talking when they don't allow StreamYard to post their name.
Hi from the Go.
That
What's up, Go Ohio?
That is Jeff from
Jeff.
Bel Air House.
Jeff's awesome. He shows up a lot. We appreciate him.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely.
So I guess you guys tuned in to see some evidence.
Really?
Yes.
Imagine that.
So we have brought to you tonight. Your guests are right here.
Us.
Us.
Yeah.
This won't be the last, but will be the last for June probably of the Montgomery House investigation that we all did for the first time as a team. And remember, everybody watching and anybody that watches this later that doesn't watch it live, if you're interested in doing investigations at the Montgomery House, feel free to reach out to any of us. Highly recommend. It's an awesome place. It's in the Uwharrie Mountains. Been there since 1830 for everybody everybody's heard me talk about it multiple times. But investigations are only 150 for a 4 to 5 hour investigation. As long as you can hold the bathroom, you can do an investigation because there's no plumbing. But reach out to Audra and I. We can set you up and get you in there and get you investigating. But this is still some of the evidence. And guys, we could probably have 1 or 2 more shows because there's still. I haven't gone through Audra's videos or audio from her videos. Tony still hasn't gone through Cherie's videos. Ron and Lourdes still haven't gone through a lot of their stuff. This was just an amazing event for the 6 of us to be together for the first time in one place. It was not only a phenomenal connection between the 6 of us personally, sitting on the front porch till the sun come up practically, having a good time. Friends, family, actually being together for the first time. It was fantastic. It was a dream come true and something we'd all been waiting on for a long time. But this investigation, the 6 of us together, produced some phenomenal evidence. And we have only tapped about 50% of what we actually recorded that night.
Right.
So we have approximately 12 to 15 clips for you guys tonight of EVP's STATICOM video that Tony caught on his LE law enforcement body cam. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, the body cam is cool.
But we will go ahead and get rolling if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Christoph. Christoph, oh God. Katie Holte.
Good morning.
Katie Holte. Hey, Katie.
Good morning, Katie.
Katie Holte. There was a chaos box at the Patchett house this weekend that Jenny had.
That's right.
And it made some people happy when they heard it.
It was chaos.
It was a chaos box.
That's cool.
This first one, something about the Montgomery house, guys, we talk about Lourdes. Lourdes is a phenomenal person. Anybody that's ever met her, she's just the most awesome person. She's loving. What you see here is us. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't do anything for production. If you don't like us, oh well. If you do like us, this is us. This is how we actually are. And Lourdes is just a phenomenal person. And I've never, besides Everett from PPIT, I've never seen the Montgomery house embrace somebody so much as it did Lourdes. So here's one of those clips.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I couldn't believe they said that.
We were listening to the audio as one does. And of course, she starts cackling. I went, "What's so funny?" She goes, "Go back. You're going to want to hear this." I went, "What?" She goes, "Go back." And I went back. I was like, "Wow, that's accurate."
It was so funny.
Creepy. And
I don't know if they would be nice or sarcastic, but
Well, here's the great thing about it is we had a Puerto Rican princess, we had an Asian princess, and we had a Disney princess.
oh no.
You had them all.
the Disney princess, and it's funny.
That's
Yeah, Gio, we don't know who spoke it. I mean, if anything, honestly, Chris and Andre might have the most educated guess because they know the place better. Who might have said that? I mean, it's not indicative of the time period necessarily, but if everything's part of the collective conscious and they're tapped into the then and now and all that stuff, and they don't have to have been from 2010 to know what a Puerto Rican princess is.
So there's some staple spirits at the Montgomery house. There's a servant girl that wanders the woods behind the house. There's a Native American girl that wanders the woods next. They never cross.
Yeah.
That wanders the wood next to the house. We've got Mrs. Montgomery. There is an Italian gentleman, not Ron Iacovetti, that is attached to an organ that's in the house. And then we've gotten James Patterson, of course.
Yeah.
And there's a Civil War soldier that appears. And we've gotten a couple EVPs that we assume is Dr. Montgomery, but he's never identified himself.
Mm-mm.
So that's a total of 5 or 6
Sarah.
spirits that we know that we know are there all the time. But I can tell you guys right now, it's the Montgomery House is becoming, it's PPIT goes there and they catch different stuff.
Absolutely.
The minute Ron and turned on his Staticom, I'm telling you right now, it felt like somebody opened the gates to Disneyland.
Flung it open.
There was energy surrounding us. It was phenomenal. And I think it's a part of Staticom. I think it's a part of the Montgomery House, because the Montgomery House was a staple in that county for so many years. I mean, it was the only doctor in the county for so many years. It was the courthouse for so many years. It is now one of the main focuses of the Montgomery County Historical Society. There's so many remembrances of people like James Patterson, right? Yeah. That are remembered in that location. And that location is their second museum for the Montgomery County Historical Society to remember that so much that happened in that county. I would almost go as far to say that it's somewhat of a doorway, that we actually get different responses every time.
Yeah, and that's very possible. I remember back 13 years ago when Sri and I first started investigating, and we started at the Hotel San Carlos here in Phoenix because it had a reputation of being haunted. But we would go there, and when we got on good platform with the spirits that they would communicate with us, we'd get the same voices throughout the night, but we'd always have new ones, always. So how they come and go, and then there'd be nights that we wouldn't hear a single voice that we knew, and we'd have voices we had never heard before. So yeah, I think, it's their ability to come and go as they want. And it's no different than if you walk down there to see what humans are there. It's a hotel. It's always going to be different. I don't know, but that's the effect.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys have proven with Staticom, and we've all of us, as long as we've been investigating and recording and capturing evidence, all 6 of us completely 100% agree in free will and consciousness and intelligence. And I truly believe that these spirits can come and go and communicate with and who they want to, when they want to.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think we're bringing them into existence or manifesting them. I think what we're doing is allowing ourselves to be able to interact. We're giving ourselves whatever ability for access we can through our methodologies and our tech, and even through our own personal instrument, like, with your senses and stuff. So I think in those, for all of us in our own ways, are pretty highly developed. I mean, we've been honing them like a concert pianist who would practice and practice and practice. And if some of it becomes muscle memory, second nature, you kind of get into that zone, which for a lot of creative people say consciousness, kind of like that's where a lot of their genius from. So who knows? But that place is absolutely a paranormal ROI.
I'm wondering, because the Patchett House is in Montgomery, New York.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that Montgomery is the same Montgomery. I wanted to research it, but I haven't had time.
Right, that's right.
If there's any connection.
She's a good point. She brought that up because the Patchett House is in Montgomery County, New York, and I think the town's called Wallkill. And kill is K-I-L. It's another word for stream, or a tributary of water. So yeah, that was an interesting tie-in that there was Montgomery involved, and who knows if there's any kind of
connection. I gotta research it and see.
Maybe not, but you have to look at those things.
Let me do some digging, because Dr. Montgomery was not originally from North Carolina.
Oh. His wife was. He wasn't.
Now, Mrs. Montgomery, she was, because she was the daughter of Mary Scarborough. So there might be some connection there that we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
especially since they're so well off, so it's it's not.
Oh, yeah. See, the doctor might not be from there, and the Puerto Rican princess.
The Puerto Rican princess is definitely not from there.
I don't know about the princess part, but
fat Katie.
I think with the amount of years that we've all been doing this and the connections that we've made, for God's sake, if you guys aren't paying attention to Ron and Lourdes, we dedicate more to the paranormal than we do our professional lives. Honestly.
That's true. I remember.
Go ahead.
I would say I remember somebody seeing something about, and it wasn't about the paranormal story, but it was like if you're so dedicated and immersed in something that you're really passionate about, something that you put part-time into will have the perception or give the perception to other people that it's a full-time thing. Like that's all you could possibly be doing, because your presence in it and what you broadcast out from your activity, you know, or share will look like this is all you're doing, because there's so much involvement. I think that speaks to every one of us when we do this stuff.
Oh, trust us, we all have jobs.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We all have day jobs.
The Montgomery County Historical Society thought we did this for a living. It's like, oh hell no. We did this for a living, you wouldn't be getting all the money.
Yeah, right. we do it for the dead.
I mean, here's a great comparison. I've been in my field of career for 30 years. This year, 30 years. I've been doing the paranormal for 25 to 26. So I've been doing the paranormal almost as long as I've been in my career.
Wow.
It's think about in the early 80s when we still had payphones. We didn't have cell phones, right? If there was an emergency or a car accident on the street, where did everybody run to? They ran to the payphone, right? So you get 6 people that have been in the paranormal as long as we have that go to a haunted location or a knownly haunted location and have a way to communicate with spirits that aren't only there, but that are not there. They're running to the payphone so they can communicate.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. All right, we better get to some evidence of people getting mad. And obviously kicking in the shin under the desk. So this next one, this is awesome because we've been hearing about the little girl at the Montgomery house, and we've never confirmed her until this investigation. We got a name. We got her calling Lourdes's name a couple times. Well, this time we caught her howling/humming in the background. So here we go. It's quick. I'll play it more than once.
She shows up, and then when I was standing on the landing, that's where she peeked out of it. Yeah, one glove is obviously not charged.
Yep, you can hear it.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
What's amazing is we were actually talking about her because that's when Tony had seen her for the first time.
Right, twice I saw her that night.
Yeah. Let's play it again.
Yeah, that's quick.
She shows up, and then when I was standing on the landing, that's where she peeked out of it. Yeah, one glove is obviously not charged.
Yeah, you can definitely hear that, and that sounds like a young girl. I mean, that's none of our voices. That's none of the women that were there that night with us. That's a younger child. That's awesome capture.
Yep.
She was probably like, "Ooh, they can see me."
It's about time, you blind fuckers. Somebody saw me. All right, this next one was caught with Tony's body cam.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this one is really cool.
This one is really cool. Here we go.
Yeah, because your camera's on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not horizontal, it should be on the top. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Clear. Helping you with yours, right?
No.
That was me talking, wasn't it?
You were trying to fix her phone. You were explaining to her why it wasn't.
Oh, I
sitting
remember.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you hear this "thank you" when you said, "Yeah."
Yeah. The spirits thank me, not the princess.
That's why I'm a princess. The spirits answer for me.
That's awesome. And Entity was telling Ron, thank you for fixing her shit. She wasn't getting us.
Nope.
That's a good catch.
Yeah.
It was a great catch.
Clear.
So clear. That one was amazing one.
Well, and you can see the experience in the review because years and years and years ago when we first started doing that shit like that, we wouldn't have caught. But Tony caught it.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a few of the review.
Just one.
I've done a little review over the years.
The other thing that speaks to experience there is that we knew between the 6 of us that nobody was whispering the entire night at any point. So we knew, even if we couldn't see everybody's face at the time, we would know that it was none of us or somebody would have tagged it.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of us would have yelled at whoever was whispering because
Absolutely.
first.
Let's be honest.
No whispering.
Yeah, Sheree would have taken him down like a wrestler.
Exactly.
She would have.
Double
She
leg
doesn't hit him at the
takedown.
knees. Yeah, she didn't hit him at the knees. She hits him at the ankles.
You don't whisper.
It
You don't
still
whisper
hurts.
around shoot. Still hurts.
Don't Cherie will yell at you from across a building when you're trying to do an EVP session when she's doing an EVP session. Matter of
Right?
fact, she did it at the Montgomery house.
Yes, she did.
She
Yeah,
did
she
it
did
when we were
too.
doing the 4-mansion tour too.
And Selma, yeah.
When Ron was trying to tell everybody, "Hey, they're doing EVP. Keep your voice down," she's screaming at him, "We're doing EVP."
Shut up! We're doing EVP.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I'm telling them.
I actually have a recording from the Montgomery house where her and Audra were in one room. Tony, Lourdes, and I were in another room, and we were doing an EVP session. You keep hearing shh, shh,
Yeah.
shh. And I'm like, what is she shushing? And Tony goes, she's doing an EVP session. And you hear me go, what do you think we're doing?
What a good time that was. Huh?
It was.
It was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Melissa Blackman. Good for her. I wish. She goes, I wish I had the talent to tell people to shut the fuck up.
It's a talent.
Come hang out with us a few times, Melissa. Cherie will teach you.
Yeah.
Roger. Yeah, it was. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
She would do it sometimes at places that people would be whispering, and she would just tag it. And you can see people starting to get like, "All right, well, you're not supposed to do that."
All right, here's another one. Here we go.
Yeah, one of them, but I don't know. Is Nancy around?
Information.
We're back.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot in there.
Oh,
Hey, Lourdes again. That was cool because I think we came back from a break, and then she, right before she says it to go something about "Let it begin," they're back or something, and she goes, "We're back."
Yep.
Yeah.
hey,
That was cool.
and when the spirits call out STATICOM,
Yeah, that is.
come
Yeah.
on now.
I played that over and over again just to be sure, and I had her hear it, and the bionic ear approved it.
Yeah, no, that was clear, man. That was holy moly, Roger, you're
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
What I liked most about that though is there's a statement in there about the demon is with you. He'll show up at night, or
In your dreams.
wait till you play my last one because it ties right into that. And it is said over multiple times, meaning from different times when STATICOM was running. That statement keeps appearing. It appeared in 2 weeks ago on our show when we did set 1. There was something in there about negativity, or I can't remember, but I'm glad you played that one because it'll help support the one that
So
I'm talking
why wait to play that one? Let's play it now since they're
Tie it in.
Which one is it, Tony? Is it the Trust Me?
Yes, I believe it's Trust Me.
We're
And
play it right
we've been telling people too that we don't typically get angels and demons and all that kind of words when we do these events or anywhere, or even home. But there was a lot of it that night in Montgomery.
Angels and demons.
We think maybe religious implications and history, obviously, with the area, the house, who knows? But that was for us. That's not like we don't get that stuff all the time. Those words don't usually come out.
We don't either.
There's a really interesting connection to that too, because when PPIT did their investigation, they were doing a sensory deprivation. They were doing an Estes method test. And I believe it was Eric that had the earphones on. He was doing a sermon.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And they're like, hang on a minute. Is there like a... So, guys, y'all, we're in the Bible Belt, but there's not a sermon playing at 2 a.m. It was about 1:30 in the morning. There's no sermon playing. There's no. And the sweep on the SB7 or SB11 that they were using that Scott uses with his Estes sessions would not have picked up whole. I mean, he was giving like Matthews and Luke and yes, in the Montgomery house. Well, you weren't in there. You were in the truck.
Well, but we haven't seen that evidence.
Well, they didn't show it last time. Don't ruin the next show from PPIT. But there's an extreme connection with that, not only with Tony's, because I watched it. I know what you're talking about. And this one, and now we had PPIT that was actually doing an Estes method where he was picking up a sermon through the earphones.
Wow.
Interesting.
So let's go ahead and listen to Tony's clip. Here we go.
So precious.
So clear.
Was that the right one?
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The so precious part was really clear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you even repeated it. Play that one just once more. You listen because you repeat it. You heard it live.
I did, but not the whole sentence. So that's why I'm like, wow, it's just, I think part of the process with this that we're learning from a listener's and experiencer standpoint is that it's like when you talk, if you talk and then you say something to me and then you stop, I respond. So in normal contact, you know to start listening because you've stopped speaking and I'm speaking. But when you have a flow like that, sometimes the slightest distraction or you have an itch or something like that, and you start listening at a point when something's already started and you might miss part of it because you're not hearing it in the same context. Like when somebody gives you a phone number out of that dot, 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 dot cadence, it's hard to follow the numbers because that's what we're programmed to know. So I think that's part of where we miss things too, is learning how to dial in and listen. I think that's where the princess has an advantage because she does that for a living. She listens to different cadences in speech and people over each other. And she's used to, if you liken it to a mechanical bull, it's harder to throw her off.
Yeah, you know what? That is an excellent point. And, I don't know how many hours she does at a time, if they give her the whole court case or whatever, but you're absolutely spot on with the fact that when you're communicating with somebody, you sort of rotate back and forth during the conversation. So when you're talking, I'm 100% focused on what you're saying, and then I stop listening and respond, and then you listen. But when you're listening to STATICOM, there's never a break. No. They are talking from the moment you turn it on until we turn it off. And Lourdes also has that advantage of being able to focus her attention on what's being said for probably much longer lengths of time. Because after 3 minutes of Cherie talking to me, I can't even hear it anymore.
Somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in trouble.
You know she's watching, right?
Oh, yeah.
I hope she's working.
So, Lourdes, have you ever... So, do you do it for recording now, or did you ever do live court?
I used to do live. I was in the courtroom, but I don't even know how many years we've been listening to audio. They switched to audio, so I listen.
Which is even harder.
Audio. Yes, it is harder, and a lot of us were pissed off because it makes the work harder, but it, I think, sharpened my ability to be able to listen carefully to the audio because a lot of times they talk over each other.
Yeah.
The people talk. I mean, they used to do it back then, but since I was there, all I had to do was go like this, and they want what they're saying in the record. So I would just go like this. I'm like one at a time, and so I would be able to control it. But now I can't.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they talk over each other. So I'm kind of used to at least being able to focus at 2 voices at a time.
Yeah.
Then if it's more, then it gets a little difficult. But I can focus on 2 voices at a time when they're talking on top of each other.
I have to be really sure when we listen to evidence to contest something she says she hears, because most of the time she's not wrong.
Yeah.
You'll forget that I said that.
So to give everybody a concept, Lourdes is a court reporter. So she's done live reporting and she's done audio reporting. So imagine being in a courtroom. Let me give you an example. Everybody's seen the Tom Cruise A Few Good Men, right? Imagine being in that courtroom. You're one single person and you've got to record at a 90% perfection rate. 98%.
Yeah, 98. That's right.
98% perfection rate. So Lourdes has to record every voice, every statement, everything that is said in that courtroom at a 98% accuracy.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And these people don't wait for her to catch up.
Right.
No.
And so this is a bone of contention for me now too, because when we were challenged from someone with an engineering background in audio, and this is in my next book and it's in the documentary, is that, you know, the whole admit to what your limitations of knowledge are. And I do. I'm not an audio engineer, but I am highly studied in a lot of things to learn my craft. But if that's the approach to stay in your lane and know your limitations, and just because you know how to produce sound and you know how sound behaves and you know characteristics of sound in accord with modern physics or contemporary physics, right? She is an expert in that case in linguistics and in listening to sound. So if anything, she's an authority to tell said engineer what we're hearing is right or not, more than said engineer is, just because he knows how sound behaves, because she listens and interprets it and gets paid by a state government to do it. Good night.
Right. Well,
and different accents too.
Yeah, different accents. Sound behaves a certain way. Sound does behave a certain way. Yeah. Not when it's vocalized. Because then sound is susceptible to emotion, to speed,
location,
to the acoustics in the room. No, you can say I'm an audio engineer and I know how sound behaves, but when you throw in 15 different variables and try and say, because I'm an engineer, I know how sound behaves, and then you compare it to a court reporter that has to determine at a 98% accuracy rate how sound behaves with all those variables thrown in, and you're going to say that you're better at it than she is?
Nope. My money's on her.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. It's in my book in all capital letters. You can challenge our abilities to hear or interpret what we think we're getting, even though we can voice, print, and match it. But regardless, and in capital letters I wrote, we have a court reporter. Mic drop.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you.
That is her area.
He's spot on, though. I mean,
he's spot on.
Every variable Chris mentioned, you've probably had to deal with 4 or 5 of them or more at a time and be able to know exactly what's being said to record it. When you've done that for years, you can't beat that in being basically an expert in knowing what you've heard.
Well, a good example, like the World Trade Center cases, when they first started coming in, they would be because there was a lot of volunteers and they would work for different companies. Sometimes I would have 8 lawyers in one case, 8 lawyers. And I would have to take and you know how hard it is, because they don't know who's going to start first. And they would talk over each other all the time, 8 of them. And I was new too. But yeah, and I would have to make sure I identify them. Yeah, so I got kind of good at it.
So now take what Lourdes does at a 98% perfection rate compared to an engineer doing it in a controlled environment, and tell me who's better.
Lourdes.
It's her area of expertise. No question that a lot of these engineers, including the individual who inspired that comment, is brilliant. He's a brilliant person. A lot of these guys are, and knowing how sound works, and probably better than we do. I would totally admit that. Not that we don't know anything, but her expertise is in listening to speech and identifying it in challenging situations. So in that case, your Bush League, this is Babe Ruth. And she's got the hat.
Oh.
Ron just explained exactly what I meant to say. I'm not taking anything away from engineers. They're very smart guys. They're highly intelligent. They work hard at their career. But in a controlled environment, it's easy to determine behavioral speech than it is in a non-controllable. I'm sorry, it's easier. Just my opinion.
We agree.
Let's get back to the evidence before I get myself in trouble. I'm already getting the side eye over here.
Oh, Alice in Wonderland. She's awesome.
She is awesome.
That's because I'm sitting close.
That's right. She can pull the choker chain on. So this next one was caught. We were all outside. There was nobody inside the house. And I'm telling you right now, we've caught her voice numerous times. I do believe this is Mrs. Montgomery. And she's trying to figure out who the hell's in the house. And it's not us. So here we go.
That's good.
That's
very clear.
That's really good.
Very clear.
Which recorder caught that, Chris?
That was the recorder in the Civil War room.
Okay.
That's not the one I took pissed off into, is it?
No. No, that one was in the courtroom. That was so awesome. I busted out laughing when I caught that.
Yeah, he did.
I had to leave a gem for you later on. That's a great catch, though. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Here's the best part is you can hear us all outside.
Yeah.
And for people watching too, I think, and correct me somebody if I'm wrong, but we all took breaks together. Everybody left the house when we went on a break, and then we all filed back in line. It was never like one person inside, like changing batteries while everybody was outside.
No, we all exited and returned basically back to back.
Now there were times when some of us were in different rooms of the house.
Right.
But anytime we all went outside to take a break, we did it all together. So the stuff that we captured when nobody was in the house, there was literally nobody in the house.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And all six of us are a little bit crazy, but we don't talk to ourselves in the middle of a haunted location.
Who is it?
Who's in here?
I know.
That was awesome.
Oh, and for everybody watching in 7 minutes, UNX is going to switch over to the next audio program, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more clips to show you from the house.
Stay tuned.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one. This was also caught on Tony's body cam.
Oh,
Sweet.
You're low tide.
One of them's charged and one of them is not talked to.
James, is this better? Are you more comfortable with me outside than inside that room?
That's cool. That's clear.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but the touch it was super clear, and the Alfred you can make out, so it was.
Yeah, we'll play that one again because that touch it comes in fast.
I'm going to go out on a limb and try to connect the dots here, but if you remember correctly, the butler, Rathman, was Alfred.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm Rathman. I'm Alfred. That's history. I connected almost.
Yeah. You did. It was good.
I think you're right.
That's fantastic. What a great example. We're all running different stuff, setting things up, and then boom, that voice came in, and that body cam, which has really good audio.
It does have great audio.
I know.
I'm actually thinking about getting one.
I know. Me too.
I don't normally carry a lot of equipment, but I would love to catch some of the stuff that I chase in these locations, and that would be the perfect piece of equipment.
You just attach it and then forget about it. And the nice thing is it breaks it down into minutes that you want it to. It'll do 10 minutes, 20, 30, 40, or
so
50.
It's downloadable.
Yeah, and then it's got something like 120 gig or 128 gig, and then it'll recycle. So the only thing you got to watch is that you don't
erase
go over that period, so that you're going over your beginning investigation stuff. It works well.
They're good. We saw Uncle Giuseppe Cardona here with Anthony and Seekers first wearing it, and then Anthony got one. We liked it because we're so audio heavy that we didn't carry a video camera anymore. and then we wanted, to catch video stuff or have a camera running just in case he could help us debunk something.
Right.
So it's really useful for that.
I agree.
My only fear is I move around so much because I can't sit still, especially when the energy starts popping, that I would create a Cloverfield or a Blair Witch video and people get sick from it.
They're pretty good on the stabilization.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked around. I've got all the shots of us going up and down the steps, walking outside, and it doesn't give you that headache effect. There might be a little movement, but it's handleable.
Yeah, ours were not too expensive. I'm thinking about upgrading the better ones just because we've seen other people have, I guess, better quality video. But I mean, they're really good. You have a magnet mount, and you can put it right here and walk around.
Right. Plus, they're small. I mean, this is mine right here. I mean, we're not talking large.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is the size of a law enforcement one.
Oh yeah. This is a law enforcement one.
Send me the link.
Yeah, I was about the same size. Right. It's in the gimbal bag.
But I mean,
I have mine there.
Yeah, battery life is like
10
hours or something like that. On mine,
this thing lasts a long time.
Yeah,
Is that what you had hanging on the curtains, Lourdes, on either side?
Yes.
Okay. And we did it at some places, like the Shanley Hotel has those tin walls, like the tin roof style interior, and you can just take the magnet and just stick it on the wall. You don't even need the back part of it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Amazon has it, Roger. Amazon.
Yeah, I got mine off of Amazon, and my brand name is called Bob Love.
I don't even know what the brand name for ours is.
Bob Love.
It's one of those Ukrainian ones.
Yeah. It came free with Cox Cable.
And we all know how much Tony loves Cox.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
I cannot wait to switch internet companies, let me tell you.
Out here they're called Spectrum, Tony, so you won't get any.
Yeah.
There you go.
You just need a time machine.
But then I won't be Tony.Rathman@cox.net.
Gotta retire sometime.
What can you do?
Just don't drop the SP. Rectum.
That's funny.
Close to rectum. Oh, Crystal. All right. So let's go to our next piece of evidence before we get booted off of Facebook.
Well, there you go.
Here we go.
You guys want to wrap it up?
We're going to shut down in a couple minutes, so anything you want to tell us or ask us, go ahead.
I'm watching you. Yeah. First, you gotta go to church? I thought you had something like
Wow.
That was a good one.
That's insane. Yeah, Courtney, we thought that was insane too when we were listening to it. And Chris, what did that place used to be before?
Courthouse. So I looked at Audra and I went, this is all very relative. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, wait. So it used to be a courthouse. So anybody that was on trial would have been brought in shackles and chains, right? Back then, they would have had the wrist shackles. They would have had the ankle shackles. They would have been literally brought in chains and set off to the side of the room and wait and stand trial. And
I said she had one assault charge too.
Yeah, and the assault charge, it was a courtroom, right? It was the courthouse for God. Well, they say anywhere from 2 to 8 years. They don't know exactly how long it was.
Right, but at least 2 years, right?
And here's the best part, the Liberty Statement. So this house was there from 1830 on, right? So it would have been towards the end of the Revolutionary War and through the Civil War, this house existed. So liberty would have been a huge word used during that time period.
Yeah. Good point.
And another mention of something to do with angels at the end of it again too, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
That is that. Yeah.
Somebody wanted you to play it again.
Uncle Giuseppe, we love you. We were just talking about you and your body cams, Uncle Giuseppe.
He better be at Gettysburg. I'm gonna kick his ass. So somebody wanted us to play that again. So let's go ahead and play it.
Play it again.
All right, here we go, Karen.
You guys want to wrap it up?
We're going to shut down in a couple minutes, so anything you want to tell us or ask us, go ahead.
I'm watching you. Yeah. First, you gotta go to church. I thought it was something like that.
That's
wow.
Exactly. Wow. Such descriptive words, but now it's making me wonder. We were hearing things about, demons in chains. And Chris, what you were talking about being a courthouse. And I'm thinking, okay, is that what they're referring to? Like these awful people committing terrible crimes. But then what's the statement of we're archangels?
Yeah.
Which way is this being played? Is it from a courthouse trying to serve justice to people being bad, or
spiritual?
Talking about demons in chains and they're archangels. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, were the Montgomerys like very religious? Does the house have very religious ties? So even for them, the demons within yourself. I mean, demons could be, maybe not actual demons. I mean, I don't know.
Right. But yet they were very religious. They were, this whole area is, guys, we live in the Bible Belt. You cannot drive in North Carolina on any back road, any side road, any major highway for more than 3/4 of a mile without coming across a church and a graveyard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What up to Brad Cooney, by the way, from House in Between. Brad's awesome. And I think it was Karen Payne who just said that she's getting used to listening to Staticom, but there was more before that. She's correct, because that's what she said too.
Yep. There's always more in Staticom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
there's more in there. There was something like connecting you or something. There was other stuff in there. Yeah. I heard it. Yeah.
So that's Giuseppe. Court has always had ties to religion, especially in the 1830s.
That's brilliant. We should
use this courthouse. Yeah. You're talking. We live in the Bible Belt. To this day, can you imagine what it was like in the 1800s?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And Trinity Church is less than a half a mile down the road where Mrs. Montgomery is buried.
Oh. I was baptized in a church called Trinity Church.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
In Brooklyn.
Before you were a princess?
Yeah, before I was a princess.
The name is actually, where's the damn camera? Got a new camera. It's all offset. So the name is actually this long. It's like Mount Zion Trinity Church or something like that. Yeah.
There's quite a few words.
Yeah, we are in a very heavily biblical area. We are in the Southern Bible Belt. You can't buy liquor on Sunday. If you want to drink on God's day, you got to buy it on Saturday.
Better stock up.
Yeah, you better stock up. So yeah, especially back then, this would have been a highly religious area. So it all ties in. And good Lord, I mean, give me liberty, give me death. Patrick Henry, 1775. Montgomery County became a county in 1779. So liberty ties in directly to everything. And Patrick Henry was from Virginia, which is 2 hours north of here.
Wow.
One of the signers of the Constitution.
Wow.
Here we go.
Yeah. Everything bad was like demons to them back then. Anything you did, I'm the demon. So,
well, and I'm sure they tried, anything from horse thieves to murderers to anything back then. I mean, they definitely would have thought somebody that murdered somebody back then would have had demons in them.
Brad, I'm in Mississippi.
There you go, Brad. Exactly.
That's right. And it hurts to hit below the belt.
Yeah. You could shoot an arrow in the air from our front porch and hit a church in the Bible. Yeah.
That's right. Courtney said the other team, PPIT, picked up a sermon. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So, yep, not far off the mark.
Not at all. All right. So this next one. So we've told you guys about James Patterson Johnson. This was one that we caught. And I do believe this is Audra talking where he says he's not James. So it sounds like we picked up somebody else. So here we go.
This room downstairs in the corner, and the room where James's picture is.
Okay.
This is downstairs.
Very clear.
Wow, that's unmistakable.
That was crazy.
That is very clear.
Not James, as if to acknowledge that James exists there, but I'm not James.
That's right.
Right.
And here's the best part. That is a voice we haven't picked up before.
Don't recognize it.
Because I literally have a file full of EVPs that we've caught out all of our locations, and I've listened to them multiple times, and we've never caught that voice before.
Was Audra holding that recorder? That was her recorder?
No, that was when I had sitting in the room.
In which room was that again?
Civil War thing. No?
Civil War room. Yeah.
So that's a cool little thing to point out for people watching, because if they watch the show even a couple of times, they've heard you say countless times how you put your buckets down, you put your recorders down, you leave them, you set them up beforehand. We have seen just in one location that paid dividend after dividend after dividend that you do that. That's how good that is as a scheme, as a plan to go in, because it's countless times now given us stuff that we might not have caught.
Yeah.
It's really weird the way we do it too. So if you guys have anybody that's ever investigated with Audra and I, 90% of the time I do a walkthrough by myself. Doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how scary, doesn't matter how haunted. Chris will walk through this place pitch black by myself.
Yep.
And I don't go through looking for hot spots. I go through looking for the energy that I feel. And then I'll walk through and Audra go, okay, where are we putting our equipment? That night, sometimes Audra and I will actually talk through it, and whatever we're both picking up, I'll go, where do you think we should place something? And she'll go, what about this room? And I'll go, I agree. And that's where we place our recorders. Well, that's what we did that night. We never put our recorders in the same spot, no matter how many times we've been to a location. Tony's seen this. No matter how many times we went to Phelps Dodge, we never put our recorders in the same place at any time. It's wherever we feel the energy is where we put our stuff. And that night, it was the Civil War.
I didn't mean to derail the evidence train here, but I thought that was important. That's not just a quirky little method that you do. Like it's as a plan, it's brilliant, because we've seen it pay off already so many times from that one spot. Yeah. Red Bucket Duo.
That's awesome.
So there it is.
Well, it's like the lobotomy EVP that we caught at Trans-Allegheny. We both walked into that lobotomy area and we could smell death. Audra couldn't go any further. She had to stop. I was getting sick to my stomach, and I went, oh, we are dropping a recorder here. And she goes, oh, without a doubt. And we caught probably one of the best EVPs we've ever caught in that area. Wow. And guys, I'm not saying we're good. It's just that's what we put it where we feel. We don't shoot for the hot spots.
Yeah.
We're saying you're good.
Yeah. We'll say it for you. We'll say it for you.
Race just did chicken skin 5.0.
No kidding.
Yeah. There it is.
You went full Purdue on that one.
All right. Here is another Staticom. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, this is another Staticom from Tony. Here we go.
Spirits, I have two questions. One, how many spirits are in this house?
Yes. Wow.
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 Now, did you hear? Now, this is the question when I heard this. How did Dr. Montgomery die? Do we know? And was he suffering from any type of ailment? Because Mary, he's speaking to, good night, Mary, I have pain. You know, that I think that's Dr. Montgomery.
Yeah, it could be.
It does sound similar to the voice we picked up that we've never confirmed as Dr. Montgomery, but that voice has been picked up there before.
And we could probably ask the historical.
Yeah, we could
society.
probably ask what he died of. I can tell you, Mary died before Dr. Montgomery.
Okay.
About 20 years before he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been a deathbed vision where he may have been
That's what I was going to say. Maybe he was in pain and he was just speaking to her because people do that.
Or saw her like an end of life experience.
Oh, it's
right. Good point.
Absolutely.
Because he did go back. So
always.
Once Mary passed away, he kept the house, let the servants keep it and run it, and they stayed there. It was their property. And he went to be with his son in Concord, which was, I mean, for us, it's a 30-minute drive. For him, it would have been a 2-day ride.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
And he would come back. He called it his rural retreat. So he had a house in Concord, North Carolina, and he would go back to the house in Mount Gilead that he called it his rural retreat. He'd go back for a couple weeks at a time. I don't know where he died. I know he's buried in Concord, but but
what he died from and when, no clue.
Right.
We don't even know what Mary died from at this point.
Right. But the other interesting thing that I find about Staticom is I asked a simple question: how many spirits are in here? Not only did we get the answer to that, but because of the methodology of that, Staticom is using the entire broadband white noise spectrum. We're not only getting our answer, but we're picking up him talking about being in pain. He's going to bed, Mary, and it's that openness to it to be able to catch any message within the frequency that we're dialed into. Just to me is just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
Yep. Crazy.
And to make it even more relative, back then they wouldn't have slept in the same room.
Probably not.
I mean, Ricky and Lucy didn't.
No. I mean, they had to at some point because they had children. Well, not slept.
How that worked.
Right.
Because they was twin beds. That was kind of difficult.
You're watching a legitimate paranormal show when Lucille Ball and the sitcom is used for evidence verification. I believe it was Ralph Cramden who once said,
I don't know where I am. Hey, Norton.
Honeymooners. That was a great show.
Okay, here's another.
One of you did say hi, Norm, right? Huh? One of you said that, right? One of you say hi, Norm?
No, she said honeymooners.
I said hey, Norm.
No, but Chris did, yes.
I did. I said hey, Norm. Yeah.
Can play that? You want that one again?
Courtney wants to hear that one again. Good thing I didn't read it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Spirits, I have two questions. One, how many spirits are in this house?
Yes.
I heard the 16 there. You see me point.
Yep. That's crazy.
What's interesting is we were feeling energies coming and going. It started at 15, it ended at 16, and he was going to bed.
Yeah.
Roger's correct. Roger's funny.
I like Roger, but you don't have to call that shit out, Roger.
You know what's even crazier? I don't know if this is caught on by now, but people probably don't know this. So we're not reviewing this stuff for these shows where we're presenting it with any kind of like an organized like structure. Like, okay, you review this file, you do that one, Tony. We're just listening to the stuff that we got, and we have not overlapped on a piece of evidence where we both presented the same thing. Well, you both sent the same thing, to the show. Yeah. So we'll show one or the other, but it's the same piece of evidence. That hasn't happened yet, and it's 2 shows.
Amazing.
2 shows, 6 different people.
Yeah.
Tony, you muted.
Yeah. Like a silent film before the honeymoon.
He's working on his mime technique.
Thank you for telling me. I'd be like, why are they ignoring me? Why? I said like 3 sentences, and I'm like, okay. They just kept, and then I hear, Tony, you're muted. Oh yeah, it's because I coughed before.
That's awesome.
It all makes sense now.
Well, and the relevance of that clip is amazing because Mary, I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
All right, let's go to the next one. Here we go.
It's danger.
I think that was Oya. If you beside Sarah,
Okay,
So
now we know why you guys were in the other room.
Yeah.
So
Listen, you're not even supposed to sleep together, and you're touching Chris.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's what Audra got away from. Audra walks away from this going, I was touching you and we found Jesus.
No, that's
it's good, it's good.
But the best part was during the music, and I know that you and Audra, the only other people that can see this, but did you see Ron and Lourdes? I was gonna pop them up on the screen right when they were doing it. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, they seem to forget that we can see them.
Right.
Yes, we
Oh,
do.
That's why we kept doing it when we came back on camera. We figured nobody else could see it.
Busted.
Yeah. That was wild, man. Some of that stuff is so clear.
It doesn't matter how many times we get it. It's still mind blowing every single time. Every single time.
Yeah. And in the documentary that Tony's putting together masterfully, there is a part when he speaks to, and I think Keith Clark spoke to it, there's no data, there's no vocalization, there's nothing in the pure white noise. So those words should not be there. And if those are warbles and artifacts, I want a station that plays all my favorite songs in warbles. WARB. Warble Radio. It's crazy.
You're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right. None of that should be there.
No, none of that should be there. So for everybody watching, in layman's terms, Tony, Cherie, Ron, and Lourdes, they take a white noise generator that does nothing but create a static noise. And they put it through a filter that filters out the white noise. If you look at it at a technological standpoint, there should be nothing there once they filter that out. Absolutely nothing. It should be just silence.
Brilliantly put, yes. And it's immediately filtered. So there's no window of time where it's ambient or anything could infiltrate it. It's just it goes right through the process.
Right. Yep. Yeah, there's no window for contamination.
So this is a completely different thing that they did with the DRV. With the DRV, they used a frequency that wasn't broadcasted on, where somebody could come back as a skeptic and say, well, it might not be broadcasted on, but it's still a receiver. The white noise generator is not a receiver. It doesn't receive anything. All it does is create noise. That's it.
Yeah.
And
So
the noise goes into the computer. Into the computer.
So logically, there should be absolutely nothing there whatsoever. It should be just silence.
Correct.
But voices are coming through. They're communicating intelligent responses with consciousness, free will, and direct responses to some of the questions that we're asking. I mean, hell, Tony hasn't shown the clip yet. We'll show it on a future evidence clip show. But I gave Tony one of these hats while he was here. Ron got yellow M&Ms. But I gave Tony one of these hats, and there was a point in the investigation where I said, tell us what's on Tony's hat. And STATICOM produced Stay Haunted.
Clear as can be.
I forgot all about that. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Should not be there. It should be complete silence.
Right. Well, and like you're saying, I mean, white noise does not contain voices, voice artifacts, any type of data. So regardless, you know, people are like, well, you know, I love STATICOM because I think I can hear what they're saying, but, you know, but the fact of the matter is the whole point of amazement to this method is none of that should be there. There shouldn't even be something that sounds like warbles, let alone clear audio, intelligent responses. It should not be there.
Yep.
No, it's the equivalent of putting on, you go to a gun range, and I don't want to say too much so we get blocked.
Yeah.
And you put on your noise canceling headphones that don't allow any sound in whatsoever. The filters that Ron and Lourdes and Tony and Cherie put into the system to filter out the noise that is being generated by the white noise generator should produce a sound that sounds like you have those headphones on. Nothing. Silence. Let alone, you go back to this clip, it names Audra, it names me, who are frequent to the house and have been there multiple times, right? And then it says we found Jesus. So we've got multiple religious references to this house, not to mention, you know, sermons coming through on an Estes experiment through PPIP. None of that should be there. Let alone her name is pretty common. Her name is not.
Right. Audra. Yep.
Yep.
And Lourdes.
And Lourdes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or Rathman.
Rathman is the most spoken word from the afterlife to date. I've done the study. It's just there's no comparing to it. Get out is number 2. Please leave. Demon, devil, angel, Rathman, number 1.
Think about it. As a percentage standpoint, we have caught Rathman on more EVPs and more STATICOM than we caught Jesus at the Montgomery house.
Yeah. Let me say this as a teaser to the film. Tony makes a point to more than put the nail in the coffin for it's no way it's an accident how many times it comes through. And he produced it and he didn't even share every time he's gotten it.
Right.
Oh, no. That was a fraction. And I think I've cut it down because every time we make adjustments, it gets longer and longer.
Yeah.
I think it's at 2 hours, 2.5 hours right now. And it was because of that last section that we added. So when you guys review it, let me know if we should clip that up any. But Rathman has said a lot, and it's a question I ask. It is my determining factor that I'm speaking to something with intelligence, even though there should be no words in STATICOM at all. Any sentences, I know there's a connection, but just to have that said, and I've used that for years. I would do that when we do spirit boxes. I would do that when we did EVP.
Right.
And it usually showed up. So plus it's my, you know, people used to say with spirit boxes, oh, you're getting the stray radio waves. Okay, well, you tell me what radio station is saying my first, last, or first and last name on a regular basis, because I want to be paid for it. I'm not aware of this.
Seriously.
I should be getting free tickets to those damn concerts if they keep saying my name.
Right.
Yeah. And when you ask for it, and regardless of the ITC methodology in play, when you ask for it, so that's what gives you your timing and relevance, right? But how does anybody outside of your physical environment know that you're even asking for it if they can't physically hear you with a mechanical sound wave from a larynx? Good night.
Exactly.
Seriously, that's the common thread through everything you've ever done with ITC, and you've gotten your name. You're asking for it, and they say it. You establish contact. Who knows how do they know you're asking for it? Wherever it's coming from has to be able to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Too many times for it to be no coincidence happens that often.
Agreed. All answers to all these questions are in the upcoming documentary, so check it out.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, we got 3 more clips. This next one, so the 2 EVP clips that we've got to show, and then we've got one from STATICOM from Tony left. The 2 EVPs you have, Tony was in the courtroom messing around with his equipment. Anybody that's ever investigated with Tony, Tony spends an absorbent amount of time playing with his equipment. His investigative equipment.
This isn't sounding good.
Yeah,
no. Let's not mention the cable company again. This could go downhill fast.
That did go downhill fast.
Spectrum Cable. He's with Spectrum soon.
Yeah, he'll be Spectrum soon. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
His paranormal investigative equipment.
There you go.
There we go. So here we go. This one's pretty pronounced. These last 2 are loud. So here we go. And these weren't audible, by the way.
Yeah.
There's actually more in there, but
Yeah.
I only pull out Class A's. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something in the beginning maybe too, but they were both good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tony was doing, but man, he didn't like what he was doing.
Back off.
No playing of equipment here, sir.
Yeah.
This is a religious
equipment in public.
Yeah.
This is the Lord's house.
Yeah.
No.
Please step away from the dowsing rod, sir.
So what's really funny is we were just talking about Tony playing with his equipment. Here's the next clip.
Can you stop talking and let spirits that are in this house answer our questions? They're trying. Okay, keep going, please, because I can hear it lesson. That was a yes. It sounded like.
Okay. Now, as funny as that is to everything that was said, you know what happened right after that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
When you jumped up.
Oh.
That was good.
That's very good.
So timing and relevance, guys. So Let's Touch Tony comes out right before I was turning to point at Tony to let him know that there was 2 men standing behind him. And before I could get the words out of my mouth, Tony jumped out of his chair and said, "Oh my God, somebody just touched me."
He did.
And literally the hair on his arms were standing up. There's the damn camera. About that tall.
Yeah.
I didn't realize his arm hair was that long, but it was.
It was that night.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, and the energy level was just beyond anything I had felt before. It was strong. It was sharp. It was. Yeah, I reacted to it, and I flew out of that chair.
I just literally got chills because I can remember that moment because I literally saw 2 figures standing behind Tony, and I was just about to tell him, "There's 2 males standing behind you," and he jumped. Before I could even get out of my mouth, he jumped up out of his chair.
And that's not
I
an
think
exact
I said to you, I said, "Something's behind me," and you said, "No, there's 2 of them."
Yeah.
That's what you said to me.
Well, okay. Yeah, I would like to hear it again. Absolutely. Did somebody ask?
I guess
You did now.
But let's do it again. Yeah, I want to hear it again.
Here we go.
Can you stop talking and let spirits that are in this house answer our questions? They're trying. Yeah. Okay. Keep going, please, because I can hear it lesson. That was a yes. It sounded like.
That's so clear.
Let's touch
So
Tony. So it
clear.
wasn't even one of them. It was a few of them going, let's touch the tall, charming guy.
It's so
That's
clear.
really clear. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Really crazy.
But that's the conversation Ron and I were discussing about STATICOM, is that it's always clearer when we go back and listen to the recorder. And I don't care if it's just an audio recorder, I don't care if it's video camera, but it was the same thing you said, Chris, and I've experienced this as well, is that if you step away, if you put a floor in between you or a wall in between you, somehow it clears. And that the initial pounding of the speakers and the heavy modulation of the sound gets settled down a little bit, and it's a little easier to hear. So that's one of the things, next set of tests Ron and I are going to be working on, to try to make that so that when you're sitting right in the same room, a little more calmness to the sounds coming out of the speaker are available for you to pick up more of the live. Because even on this one, we were picking up 3, 4, 5 times the amount of what we heard during the live.
Yeah, you gave me an idea too about something to maybe implement into the process that would be inherent in the process, not in our distance from the speaker necessarily. We might actually offset that, so we'll talk. No, but okay. You got me doing this, and I don't even know why. But that could be something to do with Doppler and compression too, right? Like when the sound wave gets compressed, and then an expansion from when something comes closer and it goes away. So it could be something to do with that, because you're getting a heavier compression, perhaps, if you're sitting too close to it. That's one reason. If you look at those, you saw my phone with the tape recorder app, and then a lot of times my Tascam recorder. I think this time the Tascam was closer to the front, but usually I put it behind the speaker, shot a little bit on an upward angle, so that I get the sound in the room, but it's not right on top of it, so you don't get that immediate compression on the microphone from the sound blasting out of the speaker.
Right. Yeah.
There may be something to that. I don't know. But you're right.
Definitely. All right, we've got one more. This one is pretty pronounced. Tony and Lourdes and Cherie were in the courtroom, and Cherie and Lourdes were off to the side. Tony was again playing with his equipment. Tony was preparing his equipment for the investigation.
Still didn't sound right.
It still didn't sound right.
Move on.
Sounded better.
What can I say?
And this was nobody in the room. None of us did this. None of us were making noises like this.
Nobody knows.
And what's interesting is PPIT has actually caught something similar to this on one of their investigations at the Montgomery House.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and play this.
That's odd.
No idea. Yeah, I don't have no idea what the hell that was.
Play that one more time.
And here's what's interesting. Let me point this out to you guys. So when we upload things like audio clips to StreamYard, it tones it down. I'd say 35 to 40%. So when I was sitting here reviewing, I have a big sound bar right here. It about threw me out of my chair. So this isn't half as loud as it actually is when you're reviewing. So let's play that again.
Yep.
That was just my zipper.
Oh
my God, that was so funny.
That was great. That's great.
Wow. But
I
that's
don't even know
loud.
where to go after that one.
Well played.
That's funny.
Well played, Rathman.
Yeah.
That was well played. You have done something that doesn't happen often. All good is speechless.
Oh man.
That was great.
Audra even went, don't. And I'm like, I can't.
Don't even.
He got me on that. Rathman actually got me on that one.
Good job, Tony.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wow.
So back to the evidence.
Oh yeah.
Nobody in the room cleared their throat like that.
Or is it?
But it doesn't even sound. It sounds like a screech. Is the? Do you think it's someone clearing their throat? I mean, not us, but
No.
like
If you listen to it in the beginning, it sounds like somebody's starting to clear their throat, but there's none of the six of us that would have done that. It is so over exaggerated, it is ridiculous. And what's funny is I was telling Audra, I'm going to reach out to the Montgomery County Historical Society, and I want to figure out what Mrs. Montgomery and Dr. Montgomery died of. Because I actually have multiple things throughout the every recording that I had that night that sounds almost like somebody, Doc Holliday from Tombstone with tuberculosis, when he starts coughing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where I reached out to you guys in the thread and said, hey, was anybody coughing all night long?
Yeah, I remember you asking that.
I've got multiple coughs where somebody sounds like they're clearing their throat. Not to that extent, but it sounds like they're coughing really loud or they're, really exaggerating clearing their throat. This one was the most extreme I found. And I'm going, I don't remember anybody doing that night.
No, nobody was coughing.
No. But it was one of those things where I'm reviewing. I can't call it paranormal because I wasn't for sure, so I didn't put it into a clip. But this one, nobody reacts to it.
No.
Right.
It wasn't none of us. Why would you make that noise?
Right.
Somebody make that noise.
Somebody would have said, "What the hell is that?" if we heard it.
Right. And that's why I took this one and I turned it into an EVP, because out of the six of us, y'all, this is the way we are. I've told you this before. Somebody would have went, "What the fuck was that?"
Right.
And run to it.
Right. and not assuming it was paranormal. We would have thought somebody was like moving a table or something. That honestly.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
If we had heard it, but clearly nobody responded to that.
So let me play that just one more time. In the beginning, it sounds like somebody's starting to clear their throat, and then it turns into that loud screech. So here we go. You hear it where it sounds like it's like, what the fuck? Why did you put it so funny? Tony's still stuck on the zipper.
Oh, because he's picturing the zipper, yeah.
I will never be able to listen to that clip and
it's like Ron's clip of his mother where Ron sounds drunk.
Slow-mo, oh my gosh.
I can't tell you. Usually Audra's giving me the side eye. Every time you play that clip, I look at Audra and go, dude, it's a clip of his mom. She goes, but he sounds drunk. It's funny.
I love the way you said it.
the clip is awesome. The clip is just amazing because it's so clear.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I can't play it again or Tony will pee himself.
Tony, that's great.
You know what the scary part is, y'all, is by December, all six of us will be on the East Coast.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
That is cool.
Really, it's gonna be great.
And we'll see you guys in Gettysburg in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
It will not be this. Yeah, it won't be the same as you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish.
2 weeks
Already, yeah.
It's about 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah, it's
We're grateful.
The 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Yeah. It's the 12, 13, whatever it is.
We're grateful for the opportunities we have and that we're busy again. Now that everything went from being shut down in a couple of years, but it's like this Wednesday we're going to the Shanley and we're filming something for a documentary thing to do STATICOM with Sean Austin.
Oh,
then
nice.
we're going back for the event with Scotty Davis. It's a fundraiser for the Shanley, sold out. Then what? Isn't it after that? Then we're going to Lilydale
It's like 4 weeks away. Yeah, we're going to Lilydale.
With Cody and Saturio speaking, Johnny Zaffis, Pam and Steve Barry, Technology Meets Spirit, and then Gettysburg. It's
first is Lilydale, then it's Gettysburg, then it's we have like a lot.
Yeah.
But we're happy that you guys are going, and we wish you guys were going.
Yeah, with Tony and True, you guys got to get on. Listen, Spirit Airlines. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You want to talk to Spirit. You don't want to drive. You don't want to.
I wish we could go as well because we missed it last year.
Next year.
Next year, because with the move, with trying to have to come back out, my gosh, in the next month or two to find a place and then make the move. I mean, we're literally 5 months away. I mean, time.
Yeah,
and then have to move all the
Rathmans will be at Gettysburg in 2024. They can ride with Allgood and Keeler.
Oh yeah, we will definitely be there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
You'll enjoy it. That'll be cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But if you flew this year for Spirit Airlines, all you'd have to do is put your luggage on next week, and it would meet you there.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
That's considering they found it. Text Cherie, it's being delivered to the house, and then they text me 2 minutes after saying we're still looking for it.
Wow. So they don't have any Spirit communication.
None. They should have used STATICOM.
Yeah.
They should have.
Yeah.
That's right.
Next time you fly with them, you got to go up to the counter and go, I want this suitcase to go to Dallas. I want this one to go to Albuquerque. They go, we can't do that, sir. You go, you did it last
week.
Just asking for a repeat performance.
Can you play that last clip just one more time?
Yeah, please.
He went to hear the zipper.
The haunted zipper.
Here we go. The haunted zipper starts with the clearing of a throat.
Right.
Here we go.
Okay. We have the air conditioner.
He's crying. Look at him.
It's so funny.
Awesome.
You okay there, Tony?
Yeah, it cracks me up. Because you're like, yeah, somebody screaming or clearing their throat. I'm like, sounds like a zipper, a big.
Those were some great clips, guys. Those were great.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Really, that's a fun reveal show.
Mm-hmm.
More to come in 2024 from EVPI, EVPE.
No.
Yep.
Fun.
East Coast is in deep shit. That's right. My neighbors were happy when you guys left, but we were sad.
Didn't like us on the porch at 5 a.m, huh? Screaming and yelling and laughing.
Laughing like crazy.
That was so much fun.
It was.
It was. It will happen again.
Yep.
It will.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming out to watch us again tonight. Thank you again for spending time with us, learning about the Montgomery House and seeing the evidence that we all caught on one of the most fantastic investigations that Audra and I have ever been on. And it was because of the people that were there, not the location. Even though the location's phenomenal,
Yeah.
it was the people that were
made
there.
it better.
The people made it great. So it was fantastic. We will repeat it once we get the Rathmans over to the East Coast, if I have to drive them here myself.
We will be there. We are coming.
Guys, it's phenomenal seeing all of you every week. Who's this? Oh, Giuseppe. What's going on with your investigations? Chris and Audra touching each other, seeing Jesus, Tony in the haunted zipper. What the hell? That was Giuseppe.
Jealous, Giuseppe. You're just jealous.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys, everybody, for showing up every week.
Yeah.
We will be back again next week. We will not be here on the 3rd because it's 4th of July. Give that time to America and praise the fact that we are independent and free. Don't forget about that. But we will definitely be back next week with more evidence to show you guys. and either a guest or some Staticom. We haven't decided yet, but we will let you know, and we will get the promos out so you guys know what's coming. But thank you again so much for watching. And remember that in order to be crazy like the 6 of us are, in order to catch the evidence that you catch, you have to spend time in the paranormal. You have to be dedicated to communicating to the spirits. You have to relate to the spirits. Treat them with respect, because they are people without their meat pajamas.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be good partners, friends, and family, but most of all, you have to stay haunted. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?